Hello, this is Lisa Lee and welcome to my channel. So today's pick a card reading, we are doing a present for you. So we have 3 piles here. These are cards that I shuffled out and wrapped up, and we're going to unwrap them at the end and just see what the gift in the oracle card is. And the reading is going to be also gifts for you from Spirit. It's kind of that time of the year, and when I sat down to meditate about this reading, I don't know, just like this really beautiful energy came through that was like very like, I want to give you something. And so I want to give you something, and this is what we're going to do right now. So we've got 3 piles here. We've got pile number 1, and I also put rolled angel numbers too. So we have pile number 1 with angel number 562, pile number 2 with angel number, and a little bit of Toby here, with angel number 654, and pile number 3 with angel number 414. So timestamps are below, and let's get started. For those of you that chose pile number 1, I'm going to put this here. We're going to unwrap it at the end. Let's just put that right there. Wait a minute. Where's the spot? Right here. It's going right here. All right, so I'm going to speed up the shuffle. Okay, pile number 1. Let's take a look and see what we have here. So this is interesting. Let me focus for a second. There's a beautiful healing coming in. The present really is healing related to community. That's what I'm seeing here. And it's, let's see. With the 8 of Swords and the 6 of Swords, 8 of Swords clarifying the 6 of Swords, Spirit is saying one of the main gifts that I'm giving you this season is the gift of peace. The gift of, I don't know why this is coming through as comfort. It just is. And so Spirit is basically saying, and if you look at these passengers, Spirit, yeah, see, I'm being shown like this angel and these 2 little passengers, and Spirit is saying, I'm taking you someplace where it's peaceful. You've been sort of, like, this normally to me is about being trapped and not seeing a way out, but really what's coming through is like, you've been kind of tucked away for a while, and Spirit is saying, I'm bringing you somewhere new. I'm bringing some novelty, very intentionally. And there's comfort to be had in this, and there's peace to be had in this. And so this is part of what your guide wants to give you, is movement sort of out of hiding almost. And with the 7 of Swords in reverse and the 2 of Coins, there's no, Spirit is saying there's no more need to balance. What this is coming through to me is kind of like, let me just take a look. Spirit is saying for the longest time there was like this thing that you had to do in order to like balance like people who were difficult that you didn't even really want to deal with, like, and things that you wanted to do, and always feeling kind of trapped in like the obligatory. And Spirit is saying like, I see that, and it's over. Yeah, so Spirit is saying like there's a freedom related to the way you see yourself in relation to others who might have expectations or something like that, and then that you really don't have to balance, that you can, Spirit is saying like there's going to be an ease in which you just don't even have to like sit there and balancing the 2 dynamics. With the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups, this is wish fulfillment related to social gatherings, social interactions. This is a celebration card, and so there's a lot of wish fulfillment related to celebrating with others, which makes kind of a lot of sense. Spirit says that sometimes this is really small, but the gift here is that there's going to be, Spirit says, I want you to know that like, there's a lot here with like family. I'm like, oh, but I'm just going to try and like get through it, because Spirit is basically saying like, I'm moving you out of having to like demur with people. I'm moving you like into a more comfortable, calm space, and I'm getting you out of sort of like hiding almost. And with the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups here, there's just something about the company that that Spirit is bringing you into. yeah, Spirit is like saying, I'm coming to bring you into this ease, this social ease, and whatever it is that you've been wanting for a really long time in the way of interaction and recognition from like a group kind of a setting. Spirit's saying, keep your eyes open because I'm bringing that in. There's movement here. You're showing up as the Empress. And so what I'm hearing is Spirit wants to move you into a place of prominence. So Spirit's saying, I'm working behind the scenes like very diligently to put you in a position where, again, it's like you've attained so many levels of mastery here. And what Spirit is saying is, it's been something that's been sort of like tucked away. And Spirit is saying, I'm really bringing in opportunities for you to shine. It's kind of part of this gift. With the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse. Some of this gift is just, you don't have to be so strong right now. Like you can kind of sit and you're being supported. Spirit's saying, like, I'm really holding you. I'm really there. I'm absolutely tuned in. I understand that there's like a lot of stuff getting kicked up this time of year, and I'm giving you permission to put that stuff down, and I'm giving you permission to be just a little bit like emotionally wobbly, not unstable in any way, but Spirit's saying, like, you can be softer because I'm holding you. And so Spirit's saying, you know, I'm giving you a tremendous amount of support in the way of putting down the battle, whatever it might be, and letting yourself be more vulnerable than you normally would. And so Spirit's saying, I'm creating a safe space for you to do that. With the Strength in reversed and the Knight of Wands here, this is more of the same. One of the gifts the Spirit is giving you is this like childlike, passionate outlook where you don't have to be the paragon of strength constantly. It's been a long, you know, I'm hearing like it's been a lot of having to be too strong for too long. And Spirit is saying there's a real release from that. You get to be childlike. It's showing up over here too with the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Queen of Cups in reverse. That you get to be childlike. That's kind of a gift that Spirit is bringing in for, like, Spirit saying it's not like a, you know, referendum on like, you know, how to approach life, but for right now, for this gift the Spirit is bringing in, it's a childlike inspiration and a passionate beginning in a direction that makes you feel alive. And especially with this Ace of Wands and the Seven of Cups, Spirit's saying that the inspiration that Spirit is bringing in for you as part of your gift is going to open it's going to give you a lot of options in terms of how you move forward. And at the moment, you may very well just be Spirit saying, yeah, of course you might be like, oh, well, I see like 2 or 3, and yeah, it's not. But Spirit is basically saying, like, listen, there's inspiration coming in. It's a gift for you. I'm giving you tremendous inspiration. And it's going to give you so many options with what you're going to do and like what you have available to you. And even though it's not totally clear how you're moving forward, you don't need it to be totally clear. It's kind of like the beginning of the path, and you just sort of put your foot down and it begins to unfold as you move through it. And so Spirit's saying, I'm bringing you an inspiration that leads to tons of options and opportunities as well. With the Knight of Cups in reverse and the Knight of Cups in the upright, this is kind of like getting clarification in the way of more clarification. There might be relationships right now where you just really do have to, Spirit's saying, you know, I'm giving you opportunities to be in relationship with people who aren't looking to exploit you. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's like, you're such a giver. And Spirit is saying, like, the problem is like where you give your love, maybe that's not a safe place or hasn't been a safe place. And this, with this Knight of Cups in reverse, it's like something that like where you're giving love and you're giving, you know, effort and attention. Like Spirit's saying, I'm giving you a release from that because I want to bring in the kind of love that isn't like a little bit toxic is what it is. And so, and I'm also noticing with these 2 cards that this is a child. This looks like a child. This looks like an adult to me. And also the bird here, it's saying, like, Spirit's saying, I'm giving you love that it doesn't cost anything. It's free. It's not a social exchange. You don't have to do this for that. You don't have to meet this expectation for that. Like, this is just very like open-handed, like very comfortable, very mature love. And this in reverse is like you just being like, you know, anybody who's not going to step to the plate with a level of maturity and respect and love and, you know, without entitlement and there's something here that I'm like, ugh, when I touch it, right? And so Spirit is saying, like, you know, I'm bringing in something that is, you know, Knight of Cups is an offer of love, but it's not offer of love that is free. Whereas this was love that was asking a lot of you and not giving very much back. And so with the bottom of the deck over here being Ace of Wands, again, we've got Ace of Wands and Ace of Wands. One of the main things that Spirit is giving you as a gift this season is just a tremendous inspiration that is going to actually has like directional potential. It's really, really good. With chaos and conflict. So Spirit is saying, I know it is the season to be freaked out and hurt and like difficult, and everyone right now, Spirit is showing me that like the energy at the moment is that people are just like real high octane with their stuff. And so there's a feeling of not feeling, sometimes I see this card and it's just like that feeling of like waking up in the morning and you're not cooked in the middle all the way. So to the extent that there's a level of chaos and conflict in your environment, Spirit is saying, I want to change this for you just a little bit, and I'm going to show you. And so like I'm getting like a couple of messages here, but like one of the main messages that Spirit is giving me is I'm going to overlay support, acknowledgement, and a freedom in the way that you conduct yourself over what was normally or used to be like this chaos and conflict where you were just always ripping pieces of yourself out in order to, there's a pacifying of the room that I'm feeling come through here. That's an interesting thing because like, what is that? Let me look. Not giving any part of yourself away. There are people that want to suck the life out of you or suck the life from you or claim parts of you or take claim of your time or your energy or your focus. And Spirit is basically saying like, you know, this is what I'm relieving you of. And even though there may be a level of conflict within the chaos and conflict, it's just like, this is already a conflict. So the conflict it is, and I'm letting go, and I'm stepping into a place where I don't even know that I'm held in this way. And so it's almost like Spirit says, letting go of this, and just like, really just, like Spirit saying, you know, the chaos and conflict that there's like a merry-go-round, and like every year it comes back. Spirit's saying there's a major shift in store for you, and I've been doing a lot of work to this end to overlay what will be actual support that you don't even know is there over what you're expecting in the way of chaos and conflict. And there's a dynamic change as a result. And you're going to be able to see reality in a new way, which is amazing. And there's a grace and an ease that Spirit is bringing into your life that, again, you're a dynamic person. You always have been. That's like what's being pointed out to me right now. And yeah, there's this like I'm seeing somebody who's being like very much like, I don't want to say handled. Handled's like the wrong word. But yeah, so Spirit's saying it's not handled by people because that's power differential problems. Spirit is saying like you're being handled right now because one of your main gifts to receive that Spirit has been sort of working to bring about for you is a level of fairness. And part of this fairness is allowing you to shine and allowing you to really show up like fully yourself and with that energy that is just like so alive. And to the extent that there have been like that there's been an environment or a feeling of chaos and conflict, Spirit is saying we're changing the way that looks for you. I'm going to read it. The frequency of dynamics supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps to put us together. Wow, my throat chakra is like, let me see what that is. I'll just read it again. The frequency of dynamic support. Well, that's I'm having like a weird experience. Let's see what that is. I see. So Spirit is basically saying, shh, with the reading, I want to show you something. And I'll read it again in the end. But this is a gift of freedom. Spirit is like, I'm freeing you. I'm so tired of seeing you like wound up and held accountable or, you know, manipulated, gaslighting. There's a lot here. And Spirit's saying, like, I'm freeing you. And you're going to feel such a grace. This is going to be, like, where you might be anticipating, like, chaos and conflict. Spirit's saying, like, I'm giving you grace. And it's a beautiful grace. And it actually lends itself to joy. So, yeah, Spirit is basically saying, like, where you really had to, like, dial everything all the way down, this is going to be your opportunity to really just stand in your place, be who you are. And the Spirit's saying, like, I cut away those that are, you know, have an opposition to your highest expression of yourself. And that's kind of where Spirit is saying, and, you know, by cutting that, we've got this a dynamic change wherein you're able to really show up and be as amazing as you are without any. This is an interesting thing, because Spirit's almost showing me a situation where by accommodating somebody and accommodating somebody and accommodating somebody, it's been like their mission to make you smaller and smaller and smaller. But Spirit's saying, like, I've freed you here. And so now where you weren't seeing anything in the way of, like, support or anything in the way of being valued, Spirit's like, well, that's because you had, you know, someone blocking you, or, you know, someone manipulating a situation to try and... it's that this is a person who, like, the jealousy is off the freaking charts. That's why it was so hard for me to read that. I was like coming through like, no, we're taking care of this really difficult person that has had such a detrimental effect on your life and the way that you see yourself in relation to other people who you, like, are either family with or very close friends with. There's just, like, one, like, very jealous, like, manipulative. And for your whole, I'm seeing, like, you've had this whole experience of, like, seeing yourself in a certain way because the environment was manipulated, not because of you. And Spirit is saying, like, I'm going to shed so much light on that. It's never going to happen again. And it's also going to free you from perspectives wherein you feel like the oh my gosh, what a weird situation. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. Let me just look at this for a second, because freedom. Spirit is saying, I'm bringing in freedom from a social situation that was normally, like, really detrimental. And it always seemed to be that you were, like, going to this place or among these people to do work, to work for them, not to, like, enjoy yourself, not to show up as yourself, just labor, straight up somebody else's emotional labor, straight up somebody else's, like, there's a manipulation, and I'm seeing it clearly, like, one person super, like, envy seems to be, like, their core sin or something like that, and it kind of filters out in every direction. And Spirit is saying, like, this was something that blinded people to, it affected the whole, like, balance of everything, and you were kind of obscured by it. And this is so this person could continue with, like, a level of exploitation. But Spirit is saying, like, that is over, and I've really worked on this, and I've set you up for success, and I'm putting you in a position where you're allowed to put down all of the defenses that were required because of the circus around this person that was, like, inadvertently causing a lot of misunderstanding about you. So Spirit's saying, like, I'm cleaning up that mess. So you're going to show up, and you're going to be able to stand in your confidence, stand in your beauty. You're going to be able to shine, and you're going to be able to get along with people the way you like to get along with people without any of, like, the encumbrances of this one's expectations, this one's judgments, that one's, like, dogma and like all of that. It's going. So Spirit is saying there's a release from that, and you're going to get a grace throughout, like, you know, whatever you're looking at and being like, oh, you know, I don't want to. Spirit saying, like, I'm bringing in grace. I really am. And now I can read it. So the frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. And so Spirit is actually saying, like, you weren't able to do this for a really long time because you had to adhere to, like, that one's thing and that one's thing and the other one's thing. And so there was no really connecting with all the different elements and all the different people, because there was, like, one person in particular that was just way too concerned with your relationship with everyone else and their relationship with everyone else. And they kept on making a false ally of you. And Spirit's saying you're free of that. That is no longer something that you're going to be held to. Spirit's like, I did the work. So you're going to step into grace, and you're going to really feel that release. And so that's a big gift the Spirit is giving you, not just in this, like, relational dynamic, but Spirit is saying, like, in a relational dynamic with everyone, and like the way that you feel about the people and the way that they feel about you, this is a major shift for you. And Spirit is saying, like, freeing you of this, not only frees you of this, it just like frees you of that tendency to be caretaking, or to be, you know, to allow yourself to be, there's a level of exploitation and manipulation. Like, you're coming so clear on this, and you're getting such a release from this. It's done. You're not gonna have to deal with that again. With Saturn, Chiron, and Taurus, this is really cool. There's a release for you here, where you were stuck in a structure and difficulty and restraint. There was so much control. I mean, this is a controlling energy. And so Spirit is basically saying, enough is enough. One of your gifts is just to be, you're getting free. There's a freeing here, and it has such a healing. You get such a healing. I mean, this is sort of like Spirit's gift is like, hey, I'm healing you. I'm healing you from this mess over here. I'm healing you from having to have a bad time all the time because of somebody else is needing everybody to have a bad time with them. And I'm releasing you. And I'm allowing you to be released and actually be safe to be even vulnerable. That was a big problem right over there. And this healing brings you home to yourself and very comfortable within your skin. And so we're getting these gifts from Spirit, where Spirit's like, I'm orchestrating this stuff. And all you just have to do is notice that you have grace, that this person has no energetic hold on you, that the people outside of this person's, that the people around this person was such an influence and a pain. Spirit's saying, I'm giving you support. So support, freedom from this, grace, and being like able to truly show up in all of your beautiful splendor. This restraint is being healed. This is, the shape that you sort of had to push yourself into in order to accommodate the situation. There's a release, and then there's a healing, and then you're really coming home to yourself. And so Spirit is saying, like, with the exception of this inspiration, we see it over here too. This is its own separate gift. So I'm going to get a couple more cards on what that is. It's really just like, it's nice. Yeah, it changes your outlook, even on yourself. And so that's part of the gift that you're getting. And with this bottom of the deck energy being the world, it's going to change things for you. Like, there's going to be this is a perspective shift that actually has the effect of sticking and like being empowering, which is really beautiful. So let me just look at this inspiration that is a gift that Spirit is bringing in. Let's take a look at this inspiration. What is this inspiration, Spirit, that you were bringing in? What is this inspiration? Yeah, this is freeing. So Spirit's saying, what I'm offering you is, like by putting down like conflict, like Spirit's actually saying, like, this is an inspiration that kind of acts like an epiphany, where you were stuck, where you couldn't plan your way forward. That's what this is. This inspiration comes of that. So Spirit's saying, there's a level, it's again, like, what the message is going to be related to like this epiphany and this inspiration is going to be a little bit different for everyone. Keep an eye out because it's going to hit. And Spirit's saying it's going to hit hard enough that you're going to be like, oh my God, look at all my options. Oh my gosh, look what I have. Like, there's a fairness in all of this. And so Spirit is saying, like, this is an inspiration, an epiphany that brings a lot of options, that catapults you out of what was formerly like, kind of stuck in place. And again, like being able to put down the structures, put down the inner conflict, and just step into a place of clarity and strength. And it's really beautiful. And so let's go ahead and see if there's anything else Spirit wants to bring through, and then we can open our present from Spirit. I'm sorry about the sounds. I live in an apartment, and above me are people, so I might be hearing some of that. So let's look at this. Let's look at your present. Let's open it up. Let's see what we got here. What is Spirit giving you? I haven't read these yet. I know most of these cards, but let's see what this is. I'm not even sure. I don't remember. I meant to do this a couple days ago. this reading and then I wasn't able to get to it. So opening your present, we have epsilon modulation. And I'm going to read you the oracle definition because that is what Spirit is sending you home with, or sending you, giving. So we're going to get the book out and let us read that together. My bad about the sound again. So let's take a look. 28. Okay, so this is epsilon modulation. Gather your energies and go within to regenerate. Let your actions match your inner rhythms rather than trying to force yourself to keep pace with external cues. Commit to your own natural timing and pace. As you ground and connect to your center, you will realize your spiritual power to be at cause in any situation of concern. You have such goodness and light within you. Let go of shaming or blaming. Embrace the spiritual beauty within. Reaching inspired spiritual heights requires a commitment to developing powerful, deep roots. Wow, this is so good. A mature creative offering takes longer to produce than that which is ethereal and swiftly supplanted by whatever is next. To embrace the patience required for such building, surrender the need for immediate gratification. We must become so confident in the authenticity and value of our process that we are not in need of external evidence to bolster our coverage. We can enjoy validation along the way, but must not turn away if it is absent for a time, especially if those around us appear to be moving faster. With such confidence and courage, we will be able to deepen and slow our breath and our restless nature and allow for the inner workings of our souls to manifest beautiful healing magic. This oracle asks you to ground yourself, believe in your potential, commit to your path, and be patient to great things. Be patient so great things can happen for you. Although the flash of stunning insight happens in an instant, it follows a complex orchestration of purification and preparation. Wow, this is so confirming. There is genius in patience and perseverance. There are the hallmarks of nature's long game of breathtakingly diverse creative display. When we immerse ourselves in the sacred feminine wisdom that underpins Mother Nature's rapturous creativity, we live differently. We allow ourselves to not know what is coming next, to not need to have the entire picture before we trust things are going to work out. We use our power to attune and allow rather than to direct and demand. We shift from ego to soul, and in doing so can embody our divine potential. This oracle asks you to trust in what is happening in your life. It doesn't need to make sense in order for you to benefit from it. Epsilon brainwaves are extremely slow, and their frequency is lower than conventional equipment can measure. They are indicative of the way the brain operates outside of the usual modes of thinking, as per the dictates of mass consciousness. In epsilon state, the brain reaches its lowest and slowest oscillations between 0.5 hertz and just above 0 hertz. In that place, extraordinary states of consciousness are accessed, including a pure awareness of the nature of being, the deepest levels of insight, and the regenerative bliss of spiritual emptiness. This oracle asks you to switch off and tune in. The greater perspective you'll find can bring you tremendous peace. It is fascinating that when in super low epsilon, the brain produces effects similar to that of the hypergamma state and the even faster, over 100 hertz oscillations of lambda brainwaves. If I'm butchering these words, please forgive me. The brain operates in the sacred feminine territory of loops and spirals rather than linear progression, and at this point of extreme polarity, there is reconnection and an experience of unity that shatters the extreme tension of difference. The super fast patterns appear to be riding on the super low epsilon modulation. In epsilon, we find the wisdom of the yogis of India who taught, in sitting still, we will overtake those who are running. This oracle asks you to put your faith in the spiritual power of your path, dedicate yourself to your personal development, and seek out the loving patience of those upon the earth and in spirit who nurture your heart and protect your soul. And so this is, I love it. I love when like things like all work together and kind of click, but for pile number one, your gift is freedom and it's expansion and it's healing and it's inspiration. And Spirit's saying, I'm bringing all this stuff together and it's going to be effortless. You're not going to have to struggle or strive. And so this is coming in very strong for one individual in particular. Whatever you're dreading related to having to deal with difficult energies, like whatever you have in your mind is like something that keeps coming up is like, it's triggering, it's upsetting, whatever that is. Spirit is saying, let me just listen to 1 second, because I like, there's a couple of things coming through and I want to just get it right. Yeah, Spirit is saying like your gift that I'm giving you is an ease with this transformation. It's an ease with being able to cut off the stuff that is, yeah, it's not even like Spirit saying, it's not even cutting things off. It's like giving no F's, like whatsoever. And it's liberating. And again, like the gifts that come in as a result of this liberated feeling of this wish fulfillment socially, of the support overlaying a support system that you didn't realize was there. And with a new, like, you know, it's almost like you make this choice that you're able to sort of put down your arms. And by arms, I mean like armor. And it calls this in, and Spirit says, and again, there's nothing you have to do. You basically, Spirit's like, I'm going to give you the strength to not be affected by any of the negativity of the past. And then we're going to bring in the new. And so Spirit's saying, keep an eye out for it. All right. It's so loud. I wonder if you're hearing how loud that is. Hope not. All right. Pile number 1. This is your present. Your gift from Spirit is, you get to win whatever this is with ease, confidence, shining, and a love offer that's actually pretty decent in terms of maturity. And this is love that doesn't hold you accountable for anything. It's love that doesn't ask much of you because it's coming from a place of strength. It's not coming from a place of need or to validate somebody's ego. So it's pretty good. So pile number 1, that is your gift. And I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, pile number 2. For those of you that chose this gift, we're going to open this at the end. This is angel number 654. I rolled the dice for it, and this is pile number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and start the shuffle. Okay, pile number 2. What gifts does Spirit have for you right now with all of this? Well, there's actually kind of a lot, and I'm gonna try and get it right. So I have all the decks at the bottom of the deck energies out, because that's like one of the main things that Spirit kind of pointed to my attention, is that this is all sort of related. And so where we start with the Orphan on the bottom of the deck energy here. So what I'm seeing here, yeah, and the Venom, I'm seeing, Spirit is showing me this hand that's like sort of reaching to receive. And Spirit says, like, in the past, maybe this is basically what this season has felt like, you know, like, am I going to receive? And so Spirit is saying, well, the gift I'm giving you is that from this experience, from having had, you know, from being, Spirit saying, from coming from the Spirit, this, look at my tongue all tied. Angels and guides, from this experience, of feeling like, am I going to get anything, Spirit, and from this experience of, like, in the past when you did get things, it was kind of like, well, what is the gift going to cost me, right? And so Spirit is saying, you know, and there's been a need for you to be like the strongest and taking care of, like, this is, Spirit showing me, like, this is just about taking care, you know, caretaking, and holding yourself together to such an extent, and again, really not feeling like that you're receiving much in the way of a return on your, you know, it's like when you ask for a gift, you're like, am I going to get a painful thing? But Spirit is saying, you know, the work that has been done, that you've done to sort of like work your way through these issues, even though Spirit's showing me that it's kind of like kicking up a little bit. Spirit's saying, I'm sainting you practically. Spirit is basically saying, like, you're a diamond in the rough. Like, all of the trials and tribulations of, you know, like, around this idea of receiving gifts. I mean, this is what came through with the Orphan card. It's like, you know, whatever pile number 2, gifts are painful. They've usually come with a lot in the way of like a cost. Or, you know, Spirit saying, like, either the, yeah, this is weird. Okay, so whoever pile number 2, I'm talking to you. Gifts have come one of two ways. either there was I'm giving you this, what are you giving me? And then a comparison, which no, that's not a gift. Or there is, there's somebody who like uses gifts passive aggressively. Like, I'm going to give you like it's almost like whereas like someone has hurt you in this way. And so Spirit is saying, you know, that you are a diamond in the rough, and this hand reaching out is Spirit is saying, I'm giving you the universe here. I'm giving you an adaptability and a perspective. And you're expansive, and you shine. And so Spirit is saying, like, we're taking all of that stuff that was previously, is it safe for me to receive, and transforming it to, I have everything. And Spirit is saying, you're going to have such a felt knowing about your value with the diamond here. This is going to feel easy, like really easy. Let me just see what this is. Right, so Spirit's saying, I'm giving you an elixir to all of that. I see your pain over gifts, and I'm giving you an elixir, and that elixir is a knowing and an understanding, and even a God's eye view of your value. And like Spirit saying, like, this is your handout. I'm seeing both of these hands out. Spirit saying, like, I see your handout. Are you going to get something? Is it going to be, you know, like tainted with venom? Forget that. Spirit says, put your hand out. I have all of this for you. Your eyes are open, you know, your mind is receptive, and like the receptivity that you can now safely have. Spirit's like, I'm going to show you your value. I'm going to show you your gifts. I'm going to give you insight. I'm going to give you healing around this. And I'm also going to like instill a level of value. And it's expansive, and it's almost like an endless. And so Spirit's saying, put your hand out. Welcome, you know, I'm giving you the universe here, especially with higher power and here and now. Yeah, the shaman and the higher power, like, you know, Spirit's saying, like, we've seen you. We know about this pattern. It's not, you're not crazy, you know what I mean? You're not ungrateful. Like, we understand with this pattern around gifts. And so Spirit is saying, you know, we're giving you like a real beautiful insight related to your value and how beautiful you are. And it's really straight from source. Like, source is basically, oh, you didn't get a gift? I'm giving you such a gift. I mean, that's kind of what this is. And Spirit's saying, it's not that you don't get gifts. It's just that, like, are any of these gifts reflective of who you are? And then what does that say about you afterwards? And Spirit is basically saying, and you know what? That's almost on purpose. And it was almost on purpose. But I'm giving you this gift of knowing, and this gift of a sense of your value. And the higher power here, source, is basically backing that up. And so your visions, your understanding, it's going to be turbocharged by this very powerful, like, highest. Yeah, so Spirit's saying, like, you made it. You got home. You made it home in this certain way, home to yourself. And now you're ready to receive. And that's when source is, like, ready to give. So there's, your guides are like, everyone wants to give you so much. They, you know, your guides see you better than anybody else. And they know, one guide here is like, I'm about to cry. Like, honestly, like, the message that's coming through is touching my heart on such a deep level. But this energy, this guide, one of your guides, is basically saying, like, I know all about this, and I know all about the way in which this time of, like, cheer and holiday glee, you know, because of whatever this was, with the orphan, like, please, I'm like, you know, ready to receive the venom, the mother, and the vessel. Like, what's coming through here is just like, is your guide is like, I know what you've been through, and guess what? You're right. You're right. Those were passive aggressive gifts. You're right. That one has tried to make every gift a painful experience. We're aware of this, and Spirit is saying, but I have the universe. I'm giving you this. I'm giving you the gift of a, like, Spirit's like, here's the universe. I don't know what else, like, people had issues with, but I'm giving you everything. And Spirit and source is really coming in, and like there's such an acknowledgement that, like, yeah, you've had to deal with this and sucked. And honestly, Spirit is saying, like, let's put this behind you. Yeah, Spirit is like, I really want to put this behind you. So Spirit's saying, like, you know, one of the main gifts that I'm giving you is such a position and a place in your world. Spirit's saying, like, I'm trying to let you know that there's an extent to which you've arrived, and you're not all the way there yet, But let that Spirit saying, like, I'm helping you release the past. It's a very big part of the gift the Spirit is giving you. Is just there, and Spirit is showing me, like, you may have noticed, like, even the last couple of days, that stuff has been coming up to, like, deal with it. You know, old stuff coming up, got to deal with it. Coming up, another thing, got to deal with it. Spirit saying you may have noticed that people have come out of the woodwork to trigger certain things. Spirit's like bringing it all up and out, because the gift the Spirit wants to give you, in addition to this incredible insight and this incredible access. It's like having this access. And again, your self-worth. Spirit's like, I really want to give you something related to that. Spirit's helping you release the past so that you can move into that new arena of self. With perception here and communication, the gift that you're getting from Spirit right now, it's a release from your comfort zone in a way that's oddly comfortable. I'm going to read this. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. And so Spirit is basically like, you know, one of the gifts that I'm giving you, it has to do with your self-worth. Really, this pile number 2. Spirit is like, this is what you're worth. It's everything. This is how precious, like, this is I don't really know what I'm holding, but basically Spirit is saying, like, Spirit's showing me anyway, like, this is how precious you are. This is how beautiful you are. This is how powerful you are. This is how unique you are. This is the higher power acknowledging all of, like, that you are, and offering you, like, gifts of insight and accessibility to the spirit realms that are unprecedented almost. Somebody I'm hearing unprecedented. So that's interesting to me, actually. Unprecedented spiritual gifts, that's pretty amazing. Or access, I'm hearing spiritual access. But with perception here, you know, Spirit is saying, like, we have to cut away where you have been misinformed about your worth and your value. And that's a little bit of what the Spirit is offering you in the way of, like, let's cut away that past. Can't really erase it, you know, but, like, we're going to identify these areas where your self-worth was so affected, and we're just going to rejigger it so that you can see yourself clearly the way the Spirit's like, I want to show you how I see you. I want you to be able to receive, and I really want you to be able to receive that love that I have, and you have to perceive that it's there to receive it. And so I'm opening your eyes to that. And we're having a perspective shift that has a lot to do with communication. Spirit's saying, I'm going to strengthen your voice. And you, again, like Spirit's saying, you probably are already noticing this is happening. We're going to strengthen your voice. The frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of our truth, to stay in the flow of source and balanced exchange. So Spirit is basically, like, what I'm hearing, Spirit saying, I'm giving you I'm giving you the gift of the right thing to say, when to speak, when not to speak. Like, Spirit saying, like, I'm going to speak through you. That's really good. Spirit saying, whenever you're sort of dealing with, like, a level of discomfort in speaking your truth, Spirit's like, I'm going to speak for you, and you're going to know that it's me. You're going to feel very much that you're channeling what I'm saying, and I'm giving you the release on your communication skills. There's been something here Spirit is showing me related to this orphan. You know, hand out, I'm going to give you garbage, is like what I basically, like, I see, like, a little kid being like, can I please? And then someone's like, meh, and then, like, throws a hunk of gross whatever. And so this person is very hesitant about, like, receiving gifts or even wanting them. And Spirit is saying, like, I'm turbocharging your voice, and I'm giving you that gift that you've always had, that you've sort of hampered down a little bit. Yeah, the Spirit's saying, like, you're getting the gift. Like, it's so interesting. Let me just look at this for a second. Yeah, everything that was taken is being returned. So Spirit is saying, like, everything that was meant for you, that was somehow, like, kept from you, manipulated away from you, tainted by somebody else's agenda. Spirit saying, like, anywhere where you were, like, excessively, there's like a weird negative thing, and Spirit's like, I'm getting rid of it, and I'm opening the door for prosperity for you through your communication skills. And previously this has been shut down, but you're able to receive, and you're able to receive this gift Yeah, Spirit's saying, like, I'm giving you this gift of very clear communication. When you're communicating, I'm going to give you that nod, or that sense that I am communicating for you when it's needed. You're going to get this confidence, this understanding, and that's really the Shaman card. You know, so when Spirit sort of intervenes with the Higher Power card too. It's like Spirit's like, I'm intervening for you, and I'm getting everything that is meant for you that was somehow circumvented. Spirit's like, we're returning it. I'm returning it. And your perception shift here, it's not going to be a painful, difficult one. I love hearing that. So with the 7 of Inspiration and the Ace of Swords, so this is generally the 7 of Wands in, well, this is a deck where like they change all the names of everything, but seven of Inspiration is 7 of Wands. And what I'm seeing here is just the strength from within. Like generally the 7 of Wands speaks of defending yourself to me, and there might be a little bit of that here. But Spirit is saying you won't have to say a word. Spirit is saying, I'm giving you the gift of like strength in, this is looking like protection, actually. Like actually Spirit saying you're defended. You don't have to say a word in your own defense. I'm giving you that. You're defended, and you're not going to have to say a word in your own defense. This is part of like what Spirit is showing you, is just how protected you are. And so Spirit is telling me like, this is an opportunity for me when you're, Spirit's saying like, as you enter these situations where you feel like I'm going to have to defend myself, this person is going to bait me, like I understand that this is like some narcissistic something or whatever. Spirit is basically saying like, no, I'm putting you in a little, seeing someone like in a little like capsule of protection, you know, where your strength is like really vibrant and really clear, and you're not gonna have to say a thing to defend yourself, because your strength is going to speak for you in a way that it hasn't before. It's and Spirit's also saying, and you'll see how protected you are, not just by me, but by that strength. You'll really start to understand that with the 6 of Materials and the 2 of Pentacles. There is such a beautiful reunion here. And Spirit's saying, like, not only am I bringing you back to yourself, but by bringing you back to yourself, you're really going to be able to connect with those who love you for you. And there's an extent to which you have felt in the past that you had to balance the interests of everyone, balance the interests of this controlling action over here, balance this hypersensitive over here, and that's not you. I'm talking about energies around you. You know, there's a sense in which you had to balance people, and there was an appeasing sort of quality. And Spirit is saying, like, I'm bringing in someone so good for you, such a soulmate. And again, soulmate's just somebody who, like, yeah, I say this all the time, soulmate's somebody who comes into your world, throws the light on in the room, and, you know, and you recognize each other and you feel at home. Like, so this is the soulmate energy. Spirit's saying, I'm bringing in the soulmate energy because for the longest time, you've really been alone in this space of balancing people, but not really receiving anything from them. And Spirit is saying, I'm giving you a soulmate where you can really receive from this person. With the Sun in reverse and the 3 of Emotions in reverse. Spirit is, oh, let me see with the Spirit. What is this? This is, yeah, Spirit is like, you do not have to clarify yourself for anyone. Don't bother to explain. This is where Spirit's giving a little bit of advice. Spirit's saying, you know, in social situations where there's like a lot of nasty weirdness going on underneath the surface, and there's a lot of, Spirit's just showing me, what is that? Gossipy, divisive people. And Spirit's basically saying, you know, when you go into this environment, Spirit is saying, like, you don't have to clarify yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. You can just put up your boundary and call it a boundary and leave it there. And there might be freakouts all around you, but you're going to be standing in your power, and you're going to be clear. But you don't have to defend yourself. You're defended by your stance of strength in those moments of being like, no F's given, 0 F's given regarding whatever this is. And then you do your own thing. Spirit's saying, like, that's a real place of power. And you know, this is you, like, not having to explain anything to anybody else to make them understand, to make them this and that. How can I show you? None of that. You're done. And you know, there's this judgment from on high that you're this 10 of Materials. That's 10 of Pentacles. That's wealth and that's stability. And so, you know, there's this shift here from orphan to shaman to stability and generational wealth. And this is done. This is spirit. This has already been decided. Your prosperity has already been decided. And it's secure, and nobody can take it away from you, and no one can harm it, and no one can throw you. Like, this is something for you. And Spirit's saying, I'm giving you an understanding of your foundation, your value, and what you have in the way of like a generational wealth. And again, we're not really talking about money. Money's a weird neutral energy that kind of takes on the energy around it. And I guess this does speak to money in a pretty, yeah, let's just be honest, this does speak to money as well. But there's just there's a generational, yeah, Spirit's like, you know, there's generational wealth like within your soul family, and you are generationally wealthy within that soul family, and you're going to feel super secure in that, and it's going to filter into like the grounded way in which these things materialize. And there's a judgment to release your blessing from on high, and that's again giving you a real sense of your worth, a real sense of your stability, and with the Tower and the Eight of Pentacles, anything that was not serving you is getting out of your way. Spirit's saying, everything that is not serving you, I'm removing it so that you can build on a solid foundation without like these energies coming in, or like, this is, let me feel this. Wow, what's this about? Yeah, you're not going to be getting thrown off of your path and your alignment. Like, Spirit's saying, I'm getting rid of anything that is trying to block your blessings. Done. Like, Spirit's like, I'm getting this out of the way so that you don't have to like constantly be starting anew from a position of like, I just put all this stuff into this effort, I'm knocked down because this person's nasty mood is affecting me to this degree where like I'm not going to get this done in time, this other person, that. Spirit is saying like, I'm releasing you from all of that fracas so that you're really building on solid ground, knowing your worth, your value, your stability. And so Spirit's saying, you know, so notice, I'm knocking things away. You're probably, Spirit's like this Spirit is saying like, this guy is saying like, you may have already noticed that stuff is getting knocked away. And then where you normally would be like, oh my God, that there's a reaction. But at the end of the day, there's no urgency or no like real tyranny of the urgent to like give anyone, you don't have to fix anybody else's feelings basically. And there's a real release around that. And so Spirit is saying like all that stuff that like, you know, where it was just like people with agendas, there's so many, this is an energy where I'm like, ooh, whatever that is, I do not love it. You're given this release to now like be able to really to work and then like have all of your creativity and your work and your interactions kind of like equal profit, you know. And so Spirit is basically like, wherein like you used to work really hard for people to come along and take things away, now you're working really hard for yourself, and you're going to see that difference. And the people that are falling away right now, Spirit's like, I'm doing that, let them fall away, don't worry about it, this is headaches you don't need. With the Ace of Swords, the World, and the Three of Cups, Spirit wants to give you a whole new community where you can, like, where like ideas are really important. Spirit's saying, I'm bringing in like this fresh blood in the way of fun friends, basically. That's what I'm seeing here. And it's new, like brand new, like whole, like the new, like when I say new, I mean like new. This is the World card. It's something that is far away from your sense of like, where is it coming from? Like, is it possible? You know, there's almost like, I don't hope for stuff like that, even I'm feeling coming through here. But Spirit's saying like, there's a whole new chapter for you. I'm like, Spirit's like, I'm writing it. And it includes like this really good novel. Like, it's a very fulfilling, like bubbly, like fun energy. But it's really, this is like a very smart, this is something that like values the work that you've done, values your brilliant mind, engages your brilliant mind. Spirit's saying, I want to offer you this expansion and this enlightenment to allow you to create and work with others. And I'm bringing that in for you. It's part of the gift. With allowing and the Alchemist here with Virgo. Let me just take a look here. Spirit's saying, I'm going to heal you. That's really cool. But more than that, Spirit's saying like this healing is coming in where you're able to see your potential. You have a clarity about your power. You're like able to understand like what's going to compensate and what's just going to be a time suck. you're really starting, yeah, Spirit's saying you're finally turning that corner to that spot where like there's rewards coming in. And Spirit's saying, I'm going to fix the chaos and the disharmony. And yeah, there's something really beautiful here. Let me just see if I can get a fix. Spirit's saying your dreams need a practical plan. I'm seeing that card from another deck that I don't have in front of me. And Spirit's saying, I'm giving you this practical plan. And you don't have to, again, Spirit's like, it's not that hard. It's going to feel like a part of you to do this work, and there's prosperity in it. And it's a good investment. And so Spirit says, like, you know, you may be feeling really burdened right now. Like everything is like, you know, kind of a breaking point kind of a feeling. But you're being offered a sense of yourself that is just going to like change everything. And that's really the gift here. And a sense of yourself supported and loved. And the stuff that's falling away right now that might be feeling kind of like, because I can feel it. I don't like that feeling. Spirit saying you made the choice to like move out of your comfort zone into a more mature space that felt a little threatening. And it was a difficult choice. It was a choice between two roads. And you took the road that was going to be more empowering. Yeah, see, Spirit said you finally, instead of, this is cool. Spirit said, instead of choosing the path of least resistance related to your self-worth, I'm just going to get the path. I don't want to be difficult. Let's take the path of least resistance. I'm not asking for any gifts. I don't want to be difficult. That's the path of least resistance. It's an example, you know, ways in which like the path of least resistance has like really reflected a lack of self-worth on your part. You chose your power. You chose to move away from that. You chose to stop accepting the path of least resistance, and you started to just walk on your own path. Resistance or no resistance. And there has been resistance, and there's a shake-up related to that, but Spirit's like, I'm brushing that stuff away. And we're allowing for this opening in your life where your dreams have a practical plan. There is prosperity. Your gifts are in communication. Your perception on yourself is shifting. You're moving away from the past, and you really are like, this is amazing. This is like, the universe is saying, here, everything. I see what you've been through, everything. And by everything, that's just access. Spirit's saying it's access to the realms. So this is a gift from Spirit that is a key. It's access to the realms, and it's a real knowledge of your self-worth. And it's a plan forward with your self-worth, and it's a new chapter socially that really stimulates your mind. And so pile number 2, that's what Spirit has for you. So let's go ahead and open your present. This is angel number. I'm going to put them, I'll find out what these angel numbers are, and I'll put it below. So I wrapped these like a couple of days ago. Yes, whenever I was going to do this reading and I didn't get to it. So I don't really have I know this deck pretty well, but I don't really know what's in here, so let's find out. I'm going to read it. Happy, gift from Spirit. Here we are. So your gift is the Sacrament of Extreme Unction. Let's read it. Where's that book? Here it is. So 34. So your gift from Spirit that we just opened up. Let's read this. Sacrament of Extreme Unction. Your heart knows how to let go so you can find peace. It is time for you to experience spiritual closure. A beautiful new reality is opening up for you. Entering it requires you to release your attachment to the past. You've been inwardly preparing for a powerful rebirth. Now is the time to trust in what is meant for you and move toward it with an open, trusting heart and peaceful mind. In an ideal world, we would finish our inner work, be completely healed, check it off the list, and move on without any issues from the past intruding into our present life. In a more realistic view, we do our best to muddle through, gaining enough understanding and healing to attain some degree of closure and move on to as best we can. Flicking off remnants of the past which can arise, even whilst we are doing our best to let go. In an even more challenging turn of our growth spiral, we may know something has run its course and no longer belongs in our world, and yet have trouble exercising the past and its pains, confusions, or attachments. So it bleeds through into the present, even though we know it doesn't belong there. To avoid the taint of the past causing unnecessary issues in the present, the Oracle of the Sacrament of Extreme Unction brings powerful spiritual last rites so you can be cleansed and liberated into the fullness of your next phase. In the Catholic tradition, extreme unction is performed at the time of physical passing to cleanse the soul and allow it to gracefully leave the body and enter the afterlife. In the context of this oracle, the symbolic equivalent of the sacrament is the powerful intervention of spirit to free you from the grip of what has been. It is a liberation from habit and the compelling lure of the familiar. It is divine forgiveness and healing. Extreme unction translates into last anointing. While spiritual grace will be with you always and blessing is always available to the receptive heart, this oracle wishes to bring your attention to the ending of a particularly stubborn pattern. As it does, you will feel greater freedom and a new lease on life, as if you are being born again within this lifetime. It augurs significant and permanent healing release. As the expression goes, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. This oracle encourages you to embrace your future and let go of the emotional and psychological burdens you have been carrying for yourself and likely for many others, ancestors and more, for far too long. Sometimes we martyr ourselves to the pain of the past or even attempt to carry the suffering of others, holding it within our hearts as if that can alleviate the burden of another or create healing. All that happens in such instances is that the suffering increases. Let yourself off the hook of guilt, shame, and blame. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that all people, including you, have done their best. The universe is offering you a powerful spiritual gift. Your heart knows how to receive it. Let go. There's no turning back. It's time to start anew. It is your time to be happy and free. And that really actually confirms what we just saw, because it is your time to be happy and free. And the universe is giving you this really powerful gift. It's like being reborn. There's such a beauty in all of this with the world card here. It is kind of like being born anew. It's a major shift from orphan to shaman. And so spirit is this is your gift. This is your gift. It's a freedom. It's a liberation. It's letting go of the past. It's something new. So pile number 2. That is your reading and that is your gift. And I'll see you again soon. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 3, we're going to open this present at the end of the reading. Let's go ahead and begin the shuffle. Okay, pile number 3. So let's take a look at what we have here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, let me start over here with the fault line and the ocean. So the gift that you're being given, what Spirit's giving you right now, the fault line is the card of like walking across like a frozen lake and then seeing like a crack, and then like watching the cracks like across, and then there's this feeling of like I'm gonna fall through. And Spirit is saying yes. It's time for that. Spirit's saying I'm giving you this gift of like, from like trying to hold everything together, feeling like things could just like drop, like the floor could just drop out from under you at any time. And Spirit is saying like, I really want it, we're going from fault line to sort of like trying to balance and like, walk in a way that's like careful and not like keep everything from breaking, keep everything together. And Spirit is saying like, I'm bringing in a release from this to the tune of like ocean and flow and like seeing things in a way that isn't having you panic that you're going to lose everything. Like that's kind of, it's like this is abundance and this is a clear understanding of the depth and like the power that you are, and this is trying to keep everything together and feeling too small. And so Spirit's saying there's some major shift here, and this is part of your gift. With allowance and conception, this came out in another pile. I don't know if you're drawn to other piles. This might be, I think it was, what pile was this? Was it 2? But let me read the little blurb. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. This card feels interesting to me. Let me sit here for a second. So this is really a release because, Spirit is showing me, without being, like, it's an allowance because, wow, so I'm seeing someone who's, like, really bound up by other people's judgments. by other people's opinions, like pretty much trained to fear opening yourself up in any way. And so Spirit is saying, like, we're going to get rid of this training, and you got to receive, and Spirit's saying, I'm going to make sure you're going to receive. You don't, Spirit's saying you're so of this mentality that you're not going to be treated fairly, that based on, like, you know, patterns of the past, that you're not going to, that's not safe to be open, that's not safe to receive. And Spirit's saying, like we're getting rid of that. And Spirit's saying, like, I am making sure that you do not have resistance related to all this, like, fear of judgment, fear of opinion. The training is getting disrupted. What is this, Spirit? Show me. Spirit's like, I'm releasing you and putting you in a position where you can really begin to feel like allowing to receive love, receive gifts, receive, like, this, like, safety sort of a thing. Spirit's like, I'm positioning you to begin to really open up for reception, because I'm bringing in a real difference. This is strain right here. Oh, and this is, the Spirit's showing me something cool. So where this is like strain and, again, fear, like, where's that crack gonna, am I gonna get sunk? You know, is this ice holding me, or am I about to break through and be cold and in the cold, and feel, yeah. So there's just, like, this is strain, and Spirit is saying, Spirit's, like, bringing my attention to, like, there was a, this has come up before. What is it called? There's a person zero, or, you know, like, for the first person, there's a person who learned how to swim. Before that, it was thought to be impossible. And so Spirit is showing me, like, you get to know how to swim, and this whole strain nonsense that you've been dealing with for so long related to your security in relation to others, Spirit's like, nah, you're not going to have to depend on the ground being firm. You're going to know how to swim, and it's going to open things up for you in a way that takes away that fear. Really takes away that fear. With conception here, let me read this. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Spirit's like, you were born with a certain potential. That potential has always been a part of you, but that potential has been hidden from you, related to judgment. That potential has been ridiculed in you related to others' opinions. That has made you fearful, because, you know, the potential that you had is such that people around you with, this is such a cool message. Let me just figure out if I can get a fix on this, and then I can say it out loud. Wow, this is so incredible. So Spirit is saying, the gift that I want to give you, like, you were conceived and at conception, like, when, when you were finally born, you were born with so many gifts, so many, I'm listening to your guides, gifts, so many gifts. So you were born with so many gifts. And Spirit is showing me a situation wherein, from the very beginning, you were born in an environment that, one person or another, like, there was lack, there was, like, a lot of chaos. And what Spirit is showing me is, you had a sense of yourself as being way more limited than you are, because the people around you have wanted very much to, like, instill, like, you're of limited value because I'm of limited value. So do not, like, show up and, like, feel good and, like, have gifts. Yeah, like, Spirit's showing me somebody who's, like, maybe, like, a very significant person in your life who thought you had it easy. You're so attractive, you have it easy. You have so much money, you have it easy. You have talents, you have it easy. People like you, you have it easy. And that you have it easy has led to a situation where, like, you didn't have it easy, but you were treated like you didn't need anything because you had it easy, but you needed things. You were treated like a second-class citizen because you have such a privilege, but you didn't. It's this somebody in your life who has this very nasty kind of, like, depriving you under this sort of like assumption that you have something that like is so valuable that you have to be leveled, right? And so Spirit is saying, you know, and that leveling took place year after year after. I'm showing this is showing us like a really long time. And so Spirit's saying like, we're going to get rid of the onus of that leveling so that you can just like really be in your giftedness without any apologies, with no F's given about the people and what they think about, you know, the trajectory that you're on, like what your interests and your talents are. Like you are getting very poised to like allow for a lot of blessings to come in related to your potential that was previously sort of like manipulated away from you to a certain extent, but the Spirit's like, nah, it wasn't. This is your gift. I'm giving you this gift, a real sense of your own gifts, a real sense of your own potential, and a real ability to actualize that potential. And basically like, you know how to swim, you know? So like, so so Spirit is saying like, yeah, you may have been born on ground that it always felt like you were gonna end up plunged into the water because it wasn't gonna hold you, and you were always sort of trying to work with this ground that didn't seem like it could hold you in a stable way, and it's strain. And Spirit's saying like, this is not overcoming this, defeating it. The ocean is defeating this. It's saying, you know, like, floor, just fall. I don't need you. I don't need the ground to be so stable underneath me. Like, I can swim. I'm invincible in this regard. And so Spirit's saying like, there's a way in which this is analogous to your life. You're getting freed from any sense of your limitations. And the wool is being pulled off of your eyes related to your potential and your ability to actualize that potential. You've been messed with real bad, I think, with this whole situation. I can like feel it. Now with over here, clean it up and chop wood. This is basically like the same card twice. And even the colors are similar. And so what Spirit is showing me is, you have done the work. You have put in the work. Let me see what this is. I want to get a couple cards on this, actually. I want to see a little bit more about that. Spirit, what is that? What is this? Other deck. Here it is. What is the Spirit? Show me what this is. Clean it up and chop wood. What does that relate to? King of Cups in reverse. Let's see, what else is it? What else is that, Spirit? I need more. The Devil. What else? And the Page of Wands. All right. So what Spirit is really showing me, and the bottom of the deck, we've got Two of Wands. This is a path forward. And Spirit is saying, oh, I just dropped cards. Let's get that. Here we go. What Spirit is saying here related to this is, so this is a good message here. So this is like a little diversion from the gift and just a little bit in the way of advice. Spirit said, like there's a saying, like, don't go back to something that you had to pray your way out of. Spirit is saying you prayed your way out of something, clean it up. And Spirit is saying, don't let this person back in. You got rid of this devil energy. You did. And so Spirit is saying, like, not only just clean it up, but maintain. So Spirit's saying, like, you did the cleanup. You got rid of this energy and you're on this new beginning. But Spirit's kind of doubling down and said, like, you did the work. You know, you removed this mess that was, like, really dominating your life. And now Spirit's like, I just want you to sustain what you've already done. It's so important to me that you do that. And so that's just a little message that came through related to that. But insofar as... so yeah, Spirit's saying, you know, you did a lot of hard work, and now don't falter. Spirit's saying, like, I've got your back, and it's going to be, you know, in these moments where you feel like kind of like a temptation to regress to a certain extent related to whatever this is. Spirit says, call me first. Stop, don't call, don't text, call me and give me at least 10 minutes to help you. Because Spirit's like, I will. Anytime you're having like this weak moment, you know, Spirit says, communicate with me first. And give me that time, because I guarantee you give me 10 minutes, I'm going to get you away from whatever this is. It's an impulse, and Spirit's like, I want you to be careful with that. You're going through this transformation. You've been through this transformation. You had to find all of your inner resources. And you're really, this is death and rebirth. Transformation. But this is a lot more than that. This is a force to be reckoned with right here. Spirit's saying you're getting your motivation back. And Spirit's also saying, like, in addition to just communicate with me when you feel those weak moments, when somebody has a, Spirit's saying, like, there are patterns of behavior that just, like, we are so Pavlov's dogs, like Stockholm Syndrome conditioned towards, that when we finally break out of those modes, it feels so unnatural. And, like, we can easily sort of, like, get sucked back in and have, like, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back sort of a thing. And Spirit is saying, yes, communicate with me first so we can avoid that, because you prayed your way out. Don't go back. Like, you know, you are transforming, but into power. Your transformation is putting you in a position of power. This, like, the ocean. You were afraid of falling through the thin ice and hitting the ocean because you thought, this is going to kill me. And Spirit is saying, I'm giving you the gift, not with any kind of contrast, horrible event, but I'm giving you the gift of swimming. And so you can walk all over the ice. You fall through, you know you can swim. Cold feelings aside, you know what I mean? Like, you know, what Spirit is showing me is, you know, you're going to be in natural flow, and you're going to be carried by this ocean, and you're going to feel the universe really holding you, and you're no longer trying to keep the ground under you firm, because you know that you have, because Spirit is saying, because you don't need to. You're like, I don't need to have this strain anymore. Look, I'm fine. Look at the gifts I have. Look how easily I float. Look at me step into my potential, and, like, let that current take you. It's a very beautiful thing. Spirit's saying, I just need you to swim. Like, Spirit's showing me, like, somebody doing a back float, and Spirit's saying, like, I just need you to allow that space of, I'm floating, the ocean can hold me, and let that current take you. And so this is part of what this is over here. Part of this gift and this allowance is not sort of like stopping and thrashing around trying to swim against the current. You did the work. Don't try to swim against that current, bringing you into alignment with this transformation that you're having right now that brings you into serious power. You have a gift of communication. You've always had a gift of communication. You've always excelled in this way. Spirit is saying, I'm going to, it's weird, the word that's coming through, and I'm like, how is that the right word? Weaponize, right? So Spirit's saying, like, I'm your gift of communication. You're about to see that, something with the world here and creativity. Spirit's like, I'm opening that door for you to be heard, because your voice is so important, and you have whatever this energy around you that, like, judged, it's, you know, I don't like it, but whatever that, you know, resistance was to your voice, like, Spirit's like, I'm clear, like, on the other end of this transformation that you're already in, that you started here by getting rid of whatever this was, you're really going home to yourself 100%. This part of this is like, I'm giving you the gift of a platform. Woo! So Spirit is bringing a gift of platform for you. With the 8 of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles here, this is so beautiful. This is like, you're getting let out of, like, Spirit is showing me, this is so cool. Spirit's like, how many years have you been like, I have no way out? Like, I have to just do this thing, wait for that thing, accomplish this other thing. I can't do anything or get anywhere until that happens. The Spirit is like, no, you're released, and you're released to your path, and it's the path that the divine made for you. And so this is like, part of your gift is just like a release to the path that the divine made for you. With the 3 of materials is 3 of coins in the traditional deck. With the 3 of wands and the 3 of materials, Spirit is saying, like, I've got a cathedral for you to build with people who are on the level with you, to the extent that you could make something together. It's a really beautiful experience of creating together right here. And it's a group. I'm seeing it as being like a group of people that you're really meant to create with. And this is going to, Spirit saying, prosperity, like, whoa. But with the 3 of wands in reverse here, this isn't, you didn't expect things to come around this way. You didn't expect that. By the way, I'm sorry about, like, the tremendous noise that tends to come from upstairs, my neighbors. I'm in a building, so it can't be avoided. But with the 3 of Pentacles here, Spirit's like, you know, a really big, important project for you to work on with important people that are on the level with you. It's just not what you thought it was going to be, but it's a gift because it's great. You know, Spirit's like, I'm not taking anything away in order to offer you this opportunity. It's just, it's a diversion in your plans. You're not waiting for things to happen anymore so that you can move out of this or do that, or wait for that so you can then do that. That's that Eight of Swords in reverse. They're saying you're not waiting. You're ready to start. We're ready to start with you in this. And so Spirit is saying, like, you know, I'm bringing you this really beautiful project that's going to have a, yeah, that has a big effect on the world. I saw that over here. With Temperance in reverse and Temperance in reverse. That's just, wow. So Temperance in reverse, clarifying Temperance in reverse. Let's have a look here. Spirit's saying you really just, you're not, you've already been as patient as a human possibly can be, is part of it, but also Spirit is saying, pick up your head, recognize that you are absolutely surrounded by angels. That's what's coming through with this. When, you know, like, again, I read reversals as nuance. So with the reversals here, like, I'm seeing that there was so much patience, and just a feeling like waiting for some kind of interceding, you know, to happen on your behalf, and healing as well. And so it's like this, it's been this weird being held in stasis sort of a situation. And Spirit is like, listen, you're surrounded. You are surrounded. So this is back to conception, like your potential, your gifts, like you're always meant to be really, Spirit saying, like, you were born with a really incredible mission. And it's been hard. I mean, you know, it's almost like you had to sort of fight tooth and nail to get anywhere near your own path, because so many people saw you and just went, whoa, you know, like mine. And then, like, you know, and it was, I see that. But, and it made you feel like the ground is always going to fall out because the support system suck, whatever. But Spirit is really showing me here is you're being pulled out of like a crappy situation where it doesn't feel like firm ground, and you're always kind of like, there's an insecurity and an instability there, into your own power in a huge way. And this understanding that you are meant to do something that actually has a world-changing quality to it, and that as a result of your calling and your purpose, like, you're surrounded by angels. And so Spirit's saying, you know, I'm going to bring you an awareness of just how surrounded by angels you are. With the World in reverse and the Chariot in reverse here, we do have a situation where, like, change, you know, radical change is actually a little bit overdue. And so Spirit is saying, you know, there's been this perspective from you. It's a closed down kind of, feels kind of closed down to me. So it was like there's not been a lot of movement for you, because you kind of like closed down in terms of like being able to see like what the next chapter like could be. Like motivation got kind of wonky, because it was like, okay, I'm starting a new chapter, I'm in the new chapter, but let me feel this. Yeah, so it's like this feeling of like, I know I'm in a new chapter, but I don't know where I'm going. And so Spirit is saying, I'm bringing in clarity on where you're going with the Ace of Swords here. And it's going to make you a lighter. You're heavy, like carrying heavy burdens related to a feeling of, well, if I'm not trying to balance on ice, that's this Nine of Wands in reverse, then who am I? And Spirit is saying, this insight coming in is, you're an invincible swimmer that doesn't need to worry about ice, because of the gifts that you have. You're so protected, and you have this incredible magical ability to move through water unharmed, and you're not losing anything. You're losing a perception that you need something that you don't need, and it's a burden that you're able to let go of that is just huge. And this insight is really amazing for you. With the Empress and the Four of Wands in reverse, let me take a look at this. The universe is wow. Spirit is showing me that you're not quite done. There's a lack of completion here. Spirit saying the universe has begun to gift you and begin to like expand with it, like, you know, use you as a voice, and there's expansion here. And there's a way in which you are coming into these gifts that are super important related to communication in the world and having an effect on it. There's not completion because it's not done. Something started in you that is just not finished yet. But the Spirit's saying, like, that's okay, because there's so much coming through the process that the finish line is going to be great. But the finish line is going to be, you know, cause for celebration. It's going to be wonderful. But this process that you're in, where you're working your way towards this finish line, trying to understand these gifts as you go along, this process is a gift to the universe, and the universe is saying, like, and I want to gift you in return. I am gifting you in your return. Yeah, like Spirit is saying, like, you have this potential. You're going to know what your potential is, and you're going to really step into it, and you're going to feel. Spirit is saying, like, a great work in you has begun, and as it finishes and sort of brings you into that new space and that newness, the process itself will be illuminating. So Spirit is saying, like, you're getting the gift of, like, a good finish line where you've got all of the skills that you possibly want to be creative. And it's not done yet, but the process is also a gift that I'm giving you as well. And so with, again, we have the Four of Wands again here. And it's also, you know, the reason Spirit's showing me, the reason why these are in reverse is you don't believe any of this, right? And Spirit's showing me with Justice in reverse too. It's like, you don't believe any of this. To the extent that, there's a beautiful union meant for you, always meant for you. And it's meant to sort of come in, you know, in response to the injustice almost. And so Spirit is saying, you know, you've seen a lot of injustice on your road, and this kind of union, the Spirit is saying, is like a part of what you need to allow here, is an answer to the injustice that you've already had to deal with. And so that you're like, I've dealt with injustice. I don't believe in justice. I don't believe in that kind of a union. Spirit's saying, I'm gonna help you remember. What is this? Yeah, so Spirit's saying, like, no, this, like, I know you have a pattern of injustice that you're looking at, and like saying, well, this is what it is. And Spirit's saying, no, this gift, this beautiful union I'm bringing in is in reaction to the injustice. And it's a gift, you know, like Spirit's saying, like, it's the gift of, like, I'm reacting to this injustice by giving you what you deserve in the way of a beautiful union. And yeah, Spirit's saying, you know, it's really close, but the allowance is, you know, like, all these gifts are sort of combining and bringing together, bringing you on your path, and your path is important. Pile number 3, like that, I can feel. And there's a partner on this path, but you have to begin that you have to, yeah, Spirit's saying, you have to believe that you can receive so that I can give to you, and you can actually just recognize that you're getting. And the gift that you're getting from Spirit is like, I'm moving heaven and earth to try and show you that there are good things in store for you. So you don't have to believe me. You're just going to keep your eyes open, because I'm going to be showing you over and over and over again. Look at your potential. Look at where you're meant to go. Look at this path that you're being placed on. See how it is that you don't have to worry about this ice anymore. Yeah, so Spirit is, like, showing me, like, it's a weird scene, but I see it, you know, trying to walk on the ice, trying to keep everything together. The ice sort of breaks, you fall, and then you're a mermaid, and you kind of, like, own the ocean to a certain degree. And so, like, all of that, trying to avoid those depths of pain and so on and so forth, has just led you to such a mastery over big feelings. And this is actually kicking off, it's reigniting your potential, and your path is set, and there's people waiting in the wings that are meant to work with you, and there's angels around you. The only hiccup I'm seeing here related to the gifts that Spirit is trying to give you here, is you knowing that this can be you. Like, that you can receive in this way. And so Spirit is saying, like, I'm giving you these gifts. I want you to remember who you are. There's a plan here. There's a purpose here. And you're stepping into alignment. And I'm giving you everything you need to get where you're going. Spirit says, I want to show you how loved you are. And you're working your way towards that. And this process is really going to bring you into this place of completion that will also open you up for the kind of high-level soulmate. I'm seeing it right here. Again, I'm always going to say it. Soulmate doesn't have to be romantic. It's just that really good, like, friend of your heart, basically. And, and who loves your heart and sees your heart too. And maybe they fall in love with it romantically, but, you know, whatever, this is a soulmate. So with The Four of Wands is a high-level soulmate that is being brought in response to injustice that you suffered. And Spirit says, just please begin to like flirt with the idea of allowance related to this. This could happen. It's not necessarily stinging false hope. Spirit's like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you it's okay and it's safe to hope. And that at the allowance here, you know, it's like you're getting released from what was holding you before. So let's read your present. So for those of you that picked 3, let's open up your present and read what it says. I'll put the angel number meaning in the information area. So let's go ahead and open your present and see what this is that Spirit wants to give you. Oh my gosh, could I have wrapped this in there we go. So, Sovereign Queen Maeve. So let's see what this is. Where's the book? It is right here. Let's see what this is that Spirit is bringing for you in the way of a gift. 40. Okay. Sovereign Queen Maeve. Value what is sacred to you by protecting it from interference, even that which may be well-intentioned. Be compassionate, but set firm boundaries. You're going to triumph over a negative situation. It will take courage, but you have more than enough inner strength, resourcefulness, and boldness to accomplish what you wish to attain. Do not give up. You have the ability to connect with higher worlds, so open your heart and mind to the light. At the portal between everyday reality and the rapture of unchecked aliveness stands Sovereign Queen Maeve. She is She is a initiatrix. Yeah. Taking us beyond the constraints of polite moralism and into the bliss, sacred passion, grit, and astuteness needed to cultivate and protect the light. Goddess, warrior, queen of the fae, and fearless guardian and protector of territory, Maeve is wild and determined. She stimulates confidence, encouraging one not to shy away, but rather to assertively engage with life and calm your true place in the world. She encourages us to refuse to allow our sacred territory to be intruded upon by unworthy rulers, whether they be critical voices in our own mind or ego-driven interlopers. Maeve is the instinct to engage when challenged, to call on recruits and use all of the inner wisdom and talent at your disposal so that you can assert the light and refuse to be put down or denied your rightful place. Protecting territory from a spiritual perspective is unlike the grasping and self-serving of the ego that wishes to obtain whatever it can for its own benefit. This world needs souls who are willing and able to hold sacred space and refuse to allow it to become contaminated by greed, jealousy, hate, or confusion. This is an act of courage and selflessness. Such an act of courage serves all beings. To be a son or daughter of Maeve requires some spiritual chops. It takes feisty refusal to be dominated or controlled. It also takes the wisdom to recognize that one can lovingly accept all that is without judgment, whilst discerning when and how to set a firm boundary, lest sacred space be trampled upon and defiled by ignorance. Rapture is a pathway out of control and into the sacred and consciously chosen abandonment into something greater than self. When the ocean into which When the ocean into which we plunge ourselves is that of the spirit, then our ecstasy becomes a revitalizing, frequency-rising, soul-empowering experience which manifests pathways to victory where in a lower state of awareness there appear to be no hope. If we honor our need for communion with the sacred realms, we will give ourselves the time and space we need to integrate relevant practices into our lives. Committing to spiritual practice recognizes the self-possession to know what matters to you, irrespective of whether another or society in general can recognize the wisdom in your values. Sovereignty is self-possession. It is the belonging to oneself that happens internally as we claim our being and commit to our unique life journey. True spiritual sovereignty exists outside of social mores. It is not about becoming subversive or disrespectful to others, but rather about seeking out freedom of being. This leads to you naturally becoming an active presence which dismantles enslaving social mores and stimulates society to mature spiritually. This oracle asks you to come home to yourself again and again. Know you are strong enough to live your life and chart your course in communion with the sacred. In Sanskrit, Saraja. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce this. Sva, yeah, Saraja, I think, is self-rule. And as the meaning of Raj is also radiance, it can also mean self-luminous. Do not allow your destiny to rest in the hands of others. Recognize that the light within is your true ruler. You have the power to light yourself up with spirit. Commit to what you can do and believe the realms of the divine are working with you. Do not be dissuaded. You shall be victorious. So spirit is bringing you the gift of victory over anything that had been like messing with your potential before, and then bringing you into that potential in a way that is powerful. And really, spirit is giving you the gift of your own personal power in a way that is unshakable. And so group number 3, that is the gift for you, and I'll see you guys again soon.